Alright, hello everybody, Resonance here, and today is just 2 days after the release of the new Journey to Un'Goro expansion to Hearthstone. For those of you who've been following me for a long time, you know that Hearthstone is one of my favorite games to play in my free time. So today, I'd like to take some time to showcase some of my new Journey to Un'Goro decks to perhaps provide some inspiration for your own deck building, and also, if you watch this a lot later, you can see how deck lists evolve. My favorite part of Hearthstone is always the start of a new expansion. That's because there's so much experimentation. No one really knows what the best decks are yet, and metagames shift all the time. So at the start of an expansion, usually I begin by building all sorts of super greedy, unoptimized decks where I just want to have fun. And I generally get away with that because everyone else is doing the same thing. Over time, I will actually optimize these deck lists. I don't think that they're well optimized yet. They run some not so great and some greedy cards. But if you're looking for some fun decks, look no further than the ones I've been experimenting with on just day one. Haven't had too much time to play Journey to Un'Goro yet, but boy am I excited. This is one of my favorite ones, and the one I'll be playing today. We've got the Elemental Mage, which is of course themed around this new mechanic where if you played an Elemental the previous turn, let me find a good example of that. Yeah, if you played an Elemental during the last turn, you get a specific bonus. Now, the interesting thing about this is you have to plan your turns out in advance. I actually really like this mechanic a lot. I think it's fun. I think this expansion seems pretty well designed. My biggest complaint with it so far, though, is it seems like almost all the deck archetypes are locked behind legendaries, which is kind of abnormal. Normally, Hearthstone, I'm a firm believer, is the type of thing where you can build plenty of decks without spending a lot of money, but this is a very expensive expansion. That being said, if Hearthstone is the game that you want to try, I still think you can have a lot of fun without spending any money, but I encourage you to anyway. If this is a game you want to try and you'd like to support the channel, I have a Hearthstone tutorial on my YouTube page that I really recommend that you watch first. I go over everything you need to know to get started and start kicking butt. I mentioned you should get League of Explorers in there, but obviously here, you know, One Night in Karazhan or just saving up your gold to spend on packs is fine instead as far as adventures go. Of course, I appreciate those who take the time to watch the content I do for games beyond just Age of Empires 2. Really helps the longevity of the channel, so thank you. And thank you as well, Taco Master, for the 8-month resub. So this is a pretty fun deck, since I'm weird and I like to have fun, like Noxious does. The first card I crafted was, of course, Pyros. This is not that great of a card, but, you know, my thought was, you know, oh, you just slap it in a deck with N'Zoth the Corruptor, and now we're getting some value. Of course, it reasonably triggers all your elemental synergies. So overall, this is a pretty fun deck. I actually only own one Blaze Caller, so that's why I only have one. This is a fun little deck. This is the other deck I'll probably be playing today, which is my Quest Rattle Priest, which is based around Awaken the Makers. This is a new type of card here. So you start with this always in your hand. It costs 1 mana, and then if you summon 7 Death Rattle minions, you get this 5 mana 8/8 card added to your hand that sets your health to 40, and it also has taunt. So it's really strong, obviously. But it's a big downside running quests because that means that you have 1 fewer card in your opening hand, you don't do anything turn 1, so it's actually a pretty reasonable balanced mechanic. I always ask that people reserve their judgment on new cards and new mechanics and whatnot until the metagame really settles, because it takes a long time for this to get figured out. Some really fun cards in here, which I'm going to show briefly before we hop straight into a game, because of course we want to see these decks in action. This is a Death Rattle themed deck. At least the Trailblazer is loads of fun, definitely recommend crafting her. And then I'll just briefly show my other decks, and I'll show some more at the end maybe. This is my Beast Quest Druid. This is not that great of a card, it's alright. Probably cut it at some point, but I have so much fun with Adapt that, yeah, why not? Get my Elemental Shaman. I always love looking back on these and like slowly curving back the dream where I'm like, okay, and I gotta cut some of the bad cards. Right now, my favorite thing to do is put the Curator and Primordial Drake in every deck, because with that Azure Drake, it's kind of hard to get some card draw going, and there are so many beasts floating around that I feel like there's something that can be done with the Curator. This is a deck that's built around Dinomancy. Of course, I love N'Zoth because of the value. And then Handlock, I feel like, is something that actually has a lot of potential now because of Humongous Razor Leaf, because you can taunt it up, you can silence it if you want. And the Spellbreaker, I think, could easily be like a Fellfire Potion or something, but I think that's a pretty... I think the Handlock deck is actually pretty darn solid. This is my Purify Priest, for those of you who like to lose. But honestly, this... You know, like Barnes and Mirage Collar and the Humongous Razor Leaf, we're getting there. I used to have that Elemental that froze itself, but I've replaced it with Free from Amber plus Medivh, which is some crazy tempo. So those are my thoughts on Un'Goro so far. I've been really enjoying it. Rogue Quest obviously seems insane right now, but metagame's going to settle, so you never know. But I think it's time to lose some games. Looking forward to this one. Please do let me know in the Twitch chat what your thoughts have been on Un'Goro so far. What you think of my decks and whatnot. These are fun decks. So Ragemaster asked about the Amara card actually killing you if you have Akanai Soul Priest on the board. So Akanai Soul Priest, that's a bug. Alex Straza used to also do that, I believe, because Amara shouldn't deal damage to you with Akanai. Giant Apple says Noxious has been surprisingly successful Purify Priest. That's what I'm talking about, man. It's only a matter of time before the memes become the meta. This hand is honestly keepable. I don't like this instead of a 3-drop, but I think this is fine. It's proactive, so I will keep this hand. This is fine to have the Firefly plus Flame Geysers. Yeah, Handlock, man. Handlock is a fun deck. You can tell I don't really like to play aggro decks. You face not Malkazar alone, but the legions I command. But I like to play control decks generally, and fun decks. So obviously I think you can learn quite a bit about Hearthstone by watching my stuff. Generally speaking, I think that this game is most enjoyed when you don't take it too seriously and you just have fun. So that's how I like to play it. I think this game does have a lot of strategy to it, but it's not something where, you know, I like to build my crazy decks. I don't care if I lose all the time, and I don't spend forever thinking through my plays. Except when I'm on stream. Can't ping that. That's really annoying. I can't use my hero power. So I could probably ping this guy. That's slow. That's fine. So we're just gonna ping that guy off. I think that's the most efficient use of my turn. Because honestly, wasting Flame Geyser on that makes no sense. Gotta conserve my cards here. Control, yeah, that's true. That's true, Giant Apple. I forget what the magic archetype for players I am, but I'm the guy that never cares about winning, and I like my obscure combos. Flame Geyser, that is still bad. I'll probably just play Dark Reaper. Really digging the Elemental Mage. It's a very fun deck. At least the Trailblazer has been an absolute blast for me to play with. So, I don't know, I've been thoroughly enjoying the expansion. If people have any questions on cards, please do ask me now, as I'm actually playing Hearthstone, so. He's also playing Dark Reaper. So, my opponent is definitely playing Elemental Shamans. This is cool. So we get to see two brand new deck archetypes versus each other, and this is what I love. It's an interesting card because it applies almost no offensive presence whatsoever, but is a great anti-aggro tool. I think I would recommend crafting this. I don't really have an easy way to deal with my opponent's board. I actually might just drop the Infested Torrent and just not deal with that right now. I mean, I can actually Flame Geyser ping and then trade. That's pretty weak too. Yeah, that feels like a pretty low tempo play. I think I'll just do this. Because it's not like, because this is such an interesting dynamic, and one I expect to make a lot of mistakes around. I personally don't care, but the fact that his attack goes to 1, yeah, he can't break through my wall, and I can't break through his, at least efficiently, so. Just a guy says, so this is similar to Magic. Kinda, yeah. I really encourage you to watch my Hearthstone tutorial first. Let's see if I can find that one. This is a really fun game I encourage people to try. I mean, for a guy as busy as I am, I think that this game was made to be played on the bus, on the, you know, in the toilet. This is a great, wholesome, fun game. But if you don't take too seriously, you don't let the salt flow through you, and you just take the time to build your own fun decks, then I think this is a blast. Now, I should probably deal with this thing at some point. At any point I can Flame Geyser it. I could also just release the Trailblazer. That's not bad. Trade all those minions into that. This is actually pretty bad. I might just do that, though. I think Flame Geyser kind of sucks. We'll play this because Elise can trade into the Dark Reaper the next turn, so I don't really care. I think this is fine. There was some argument for me leaving my own Dark Reaper alive here, but I think that this is still fine. He's probably going to bot me, and then I get to kill him with Elise. Yeah, Hearthstone's loads of fun. He's got another Dark Reaper. This really sucks. Glacial Shard is a very interesting design card. I'm not sure how strong this is, but it's a 1-drop that's ideally not played on turn 1, but is excellent top deck. Like, something that you draw off the top. Like game when you have like no cards in hand. Should probably start playing Flame Geysers. Really sucks he froze that, because now I don't get that great trade. I mean, ping trade here is fine, but I can also ping there. Yeah, I can Flame Geyser. Drop Pyros, I guess. Pyros will come back to my hand as a 6-mana 6/6. Pyros is like no value really on his own. His stats are always bad. But overall, though, he's like 3 cards in 1. 3 bad cards. So if you're playing a really slow deck, there's some merit to him. But really, I just thought with N'Zoth that'd be kind of fun. Peter Pone asks, do you still play Pokemon? Do you think there may be new content for that on your channel? It's so fun to watch. Thank you, Peter Pone. I do still play Pokemon. I've been watching competitive Pokemon like religiously recently. I'm not sure when I'll next do content on that, but please do remind me. I think it'd be really fun to do some Pokemon battles with viewers again. Maybe on Showdown. I want to fireball that. He reminded me, Peter Pone. I'm glad you think Pokemon's fun to watch. It's one of my favorite games to play. So I think that Fireball Trade sounds pretty darn snazzy here. Drop this bad boy. I like this a lot. Oh, so the Resonance Bot thing isn't fully implemented yet, but the points thing is a whisper thing, and I didn't want people tracking their points yet because it doesn't matter because I'm not doing anything with it yet. Whoa, he just played Shifter Xeris. This is why I love the start of an expansion. And he played Kazakus off Shifter Xeris, but he has duplicates in his deck. Was that a mistake? Why would he play the 4-mana 3/3? I think he didn't read this. I haven't seen Pokemon Clover. It looked too memey for me.
Amazing.
There we go. Finally get some elemental synergy. Look at it crackling with elemental energy. Flame Strike here is bad, so I'm probably not going to do that. I also might not trade in Kazakus, period. I think I'll save Pyros. I know I'm not using my mana that if... This is the wrong one to pick. But I'm going to do it anyway. But that is like absolutely the wrong one to pick. I'm actually going to save this Flame Elemental. Just in case he has some sort of AoE. I'm not really that worried. But I think I'll save the Flame Elemental. Okay, well this turn I'm probably going to Flame Strike. Well, good Flame Geyser. This guy's not good because he clears your own board. Hey, Flame Strike Ping clears the board. It allows me to do solid damage to his face. Just a weak Flame Strike. But I honestly don't think I'm going to get a better Flame Strike, considering he only has 2 cards in hand. Otherwise, no, I mean, actually, no. I'm not going to Flame Strike this. It's too weak. I guess I'll play it now. I feel like my board is very resistant to AoEs now, that I've traded away Elise, so I don't mind. Yeah, I was excited about that Kazakus too, Jane. Alright, that sucks. So that's one of the many weaknesses of Pyros. Marco asks, do you think Hearthstone is becoming too much of a premium game with 3 expansions each year? Not necessarily, but I do think that this expansion specifically is too expensive because there's too many legendaries that are... like, you kind of need them to build the decks, rather than legendaries being that spicy sauce, that flavor that makes the deck stronger. It is the deck now. So it's like, ugh. Wow, I'm just gonna destroy my opponent here. At this point, I feel like trading just makes no sense either. I mean, I could... well, I don't want to get punished by AoE, so I'm gonna just do this. I don't think I even need to trade into that. Playing Anomalous is just guaranteed that I'm gonna... I don't know how he even kills Anomalous when I have 2 taunts in the way. But I feel like I should... for the memes, I'll play Anomalous. I think this is wrong. I think you play Karen Bloodhoof there like 99% of the time. But I have a feeling he can't kill Anomalous, right? Like, he needs to deal 6 damage to it through 2 taunts. I don't think he can do that. So this way I'm threatening lethal, but Also, I like to play Anomalous. This card is, this card's a real treat. Alright, so I definitely have lethal this turn. We're gonna play some of the new cards, just so people get to see them. Ta-da! We did it! Well played. Love Mage, and I love that there is an archetype of Mage now that's not Reno Mage. Oh yeah, and I just got the new hero, May of Shadow Song. Nice. That was an absolute blast. Thoroughly enjoyed that game, and I've been having just loads of fun with Hearthstone. There were many ways I could have played that turn, but oh yeah, he could have played a board clear and then traded into Anomalous. Yes, I'm sure there are many ways I could have been punished for playing Anomalous there, but that's probably the first time anyone watching this has seen Anomalous, and one of the few times I've played Anomalous. So. I guess I'll briefly show off my cards before I end off the stream for the day. We're gonna go watch Ghost in the Shell later. So far, I think my favorite deck though has been the Elemental Mage, and I've just been thoroughly enjoying the expansion. Only Zesty thinks I should put Acolyte of Pain in the deck. Do you think that's better than Northshire Cleric? Because I have pretty huge bodies in that deck, which I feel like makes Northshire Cleric kind of consistent, but I don't know. Shadow Visions helps with that. But Shadow Visions is another spell that doesn't impact the board. So when I say inconsistent, I mean like you're gonna end up with like a hand of like all spells, right? And no minions. Where's the 4-mana 7/7? Oh, that's wild only. Call me Zesty, the Eerie statue, so I don't have it in the deck. League of Explorers just rotated out of standard. But perhaps there's a potential for a wild Purify Priest. There's something there. I mean, you know, in Wild you also have Wailing Soul, 4-mana 3/5, silence your minions. There's something there. My problem with like some of the expansion cards is like, I would like to play this, but I don't have Clutch Mother's Abyss, so just, Otherwise, loads of fun. Need to find a use for this thing. The golden one, man, you get golden weapons. Favorite thing has been slapping the Curator in everything. I don't actually think the 4-mana 7/7 is that good in Purify Priest anyway. For a while I had this thing in the Purify Priest, but because it can do something before it freezes itself. Because the online handle Cool Crusher 99. Nice. And it can still do it even if you don't silence it, which is kind of nice. Eerie Statue I feel like never activates ever unless you silence it, and even then it's not efficient enough, but Frozen Crusher was okay, but I ended up cutting it regardless. I feel like Curator Synergy has been pretty solid here. I think that the Taunt Quest Warrior, there's some kind of merit to Curator, maybe one Primordial Drake, because you got some beasts in there. Something I like to experiment with. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed my little Un'Goro preview. I'd like to do more Hearthstone in the future, and as always, I really appreciate the support. I will see you all in the next live stream next week. Hope you all have a wonderful week, both in Age of Empires, Hearthstone, or whatever it is you're playing. See you all next time. Thank you for watching.